it's Doug here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to, as you saw, a new playthrough. In this case, it's A Touch of Evil, the 10th Anniversary Edition, which you're seeing out here before you. If you've watched my channel for a long period of time, you do know that Touch of Evil is one of my favorite games that I have on the channel, and one of my favorite games from Flying Frog Productions. Well, actually, I got a lot of favorite games from them, including Shadows of Brimstone and some other ones. Even Planet Apocalypse, for example, or Conquest, sorry, not Planet Apocalypse, Conquest of Planet Earth is one of them. Planet Apocalypse is the game I've just been playing on the channel, which I want to talk about for a minute. I want to talk about three things, actually. So first off, if I sound a little under the weather, it's because I am just on the tail end of recovering from a really acute respiratory infection that I had, and I'm still getting better from it, so I'm a little slow on the uptake. It's pretty rough. I thought it was pneumonia, got tested for COVID, all that stuff. It wasn't that though, so that's good. And then add to that, I had a external drive go south on me that had all my Planet Apocalypse footage on it, so I'm trying to figure out how to recreate some of that, and so there may be a delay in new episodes of the continued playthrough of Planet Apocalypse, because I will have to rebuild or continue on from where we left off, or where I left off and actually had filming. It's hard to say. I'm not sure what we're going to do there, but that's that. And then the third thing is, I would love to show you the box for this, but it was, when it arrived, it's torn. I got to write miniature, where I can't remember where I got it from. Anyway, I got to write them and tell them that the box was actually damaged on the way in, and shipping. It was packed right and everything. I don't know what happened, but the contents of the box were all just fine, and of typical high quality production of Flying Frog games. So with that said, we are going to get into a new playthrough just using the 10th Anniversary Edition base box. As you know, probably, again, from watching my channel, I have all the expansions for this that will eventually get incorporated into the whole game again, but I just want to try out the new stuff, right? The new stuff that came in the 10th Anniversary Edition, which you can see there. So what are some of those new things? Well, as you can see, all the corner locations of the base game now have a cool mini that you can put out. That's part of the four primary locations in the base game: the manor, the windmill, the abandoned keep, and the forest, the old woods, right there. So there's that, and there are some changes to the game. They've incorporated in the rulebook everything from and a very nice thick rulebook with some raised text on it and everything. The rulebook is very good. They've got all the expansion material in here, so if you don't own the expansions, it won't help you much, but it does combine all the rules from the game itself, all the different games and errata and FAQs that have come out over the years. Another thing that's slightly different in this is you see that we have now these busts for the elders, the town elders, which I think are at least the original ones from the original game. For example, here is our town Lord Hambrook, which is one of the town elders right here. This is his bust, and we'll take a look at some of these as we go. There is Lady Hambrook right there. These are the town elders of Shadowbrook. And they are going to, you see I already have them all laid out with their secrets under them and ready to go. Most of the rules haven't changed tremendously. However, we are going to be doing something a bit different. So I'm going to talk about the characters we're going to be using and tell you a little bit about their backstory. But I'm not going to teach you how to play in this one. I'm just going to show you what's new. The reason I'm not going to teach you how to play is because I have multiple series of this, and if you want to see the fundamentals of how to play, you can just check that out. But if you noticed in the intro, if you paid attention, we're playing something different with the villain. We are going to be playing with the Epic Spectral Horseman. It advises that you don't play with him if you haven't played this game before and have a lot of experience with it. We're going to give it a try, and it adds a lot more story elements specifically to this enemy. There are now objective cards, and which I'm going to draw as we finish our setup, and epic villain encounters that we're going to have that will be just this villain. And that, of course, changes some of his abilities. And I'll also show you something else that's interesting about him in a moment. We will be using this, will be cooperative. We are going to be using the Advanced Cooperative Mystery Phase chart. I'm still debating on whether or not I'm going to use the Advanced Showdown chart, but I may or may not, because this guy's already supposed to be harder in general. Anyway, see, as you can tell, I'm having... It takes me a little bit to get talking and going. He has this ability, Relentless Charge. With an unquenchable thirst for revenge, the Spectral Horseman rides through the colony. Spectral Horseman's ride through the colony is eternal. At the end of any fight with the Spectral Horseman, he will ride the shortest path directly to the town hall, engaging in one fight round against every hero moved over along the way, not including heroes within the town hall. Before disappearing into the night, the villain does not take any wounds during these fights. Instead, heroes gain 1 investigation for each hit they do to the villain. I believe that's the same as the old one. I'd have to check, but I'm pretty sure that that's the same. These fights do not count as a showdown. He has collect souls. Every time the Spectral Horseman kills a town elder, he gains +2 health marker. That's bad. Deadly Spectre. The Spectral Horseman has +1 combat against a hero with a spirit of 3. Or +2 combat against a hero with spirit of 2. So we want heroes with high spirit. I'm not sure we've done well with that yet, but we can beef up their spirit. Or +3 combat against a hero with only a spirit of only 1. Well, that is one of our characters, and I'll show you. And I did randomly pick the 4 characters we're going to be playing with. So I didn't pick the ones best suited against this enemy. The covered bridge. Whenever a hero enters or starts their move on the covered bridge space, add 1 dread marker towards the next epic encounter. So we got to be careful not to do that, though we probably will have to at some point. And it says whenever enters, so we will be doing that at some. There's 1 covered bridge, but we will have to enter it at some point. And then Cold Vengeance. Whenever the Spectral Horseman does 1 or more wounds to a hero outside of a showdown, move the shadow track 1 step closer to darkness. That is the basics of the epic villain of the Spectral Horseman. Like I said, there's also objectives, which we're going to take a look at in a moment, and also additional encounter cards that are specific to him, and epic item cards that are specific to him. So it really customizes the experience with a particular villain. It's pretty neat. And also, we have this additional Horseman Epic Showdown chart. I'm not going to go over it. I'm going to leave some of it a surprise, but you see it's full on this side. It goes up to 7 and up to 12. So there's 12 different encounters that we can roll for when we're dealing with the Spectral Horseman should we encounter something from that chart, which is pretty cool. Also, the game came with some nicer dice. I guess the green ones are the hero dice, and these black ones would be the villain dice, but they're a nice set of dice that come with the game. So that's really the biggest changes. Oh, and then there's also all the tokens get replaced. And from what I understand, some of the cards are different for the different locations. We'll have to see how that plays out. I didn't look at them. I'm leaving that as a surprise, but they also get this cool marker for the shadow track. You can paint like all these corner locations are just itching to be painted. In addition to that, since we're playing with the Spectral Horseman epic villain, we also have his mini here. This is the Spectral Horseman mini that comes in the enhanced, the 10-year anniversary edition of the game. And then, of course, with all his tokens, everything, the wound and investigation tokens are a thicker, different kind of plastic than the ones that come in the other game. They are plastic in the other game, but these ones are really super thick and almost like I have a rubbery feel to them. Almost. Anyway, the game plays out much like it would normally. So, again, I'm not going to go into the rules. We're just going to get started. You can see I have 4 characters, and you probably picked out who some of them were. We're going to go over them right now. Okay, we're going to start with the far right, and that is Isabella Van Took. She's a noblewoman. Said, wife to one of the wealthiest statesmen in the former colonies, Isabella Van Took has led a pampered but secluded life. Used to playing politics and getting what she wants, Isabella is not above treachery and deceit when it suits her. Recently widowed, she has set out with an entourage of servants and a coach full of luggage to find her own adventures in the world. So she arrives at Shadowbrook not knowing that it is about to be plagued by a spectral headless horseman, and she's got her coach and servants. So I imagine she will be going to the manor house very soon, but right now she has parked herself in the town square. I believe I'm looking to see if it doesn't say that she starts any place in particular. I'm just double checking that because sometimes they do. She does not. Okay. And then we have Carl the soldier. Carl is a veteran of the Revolution. Carl has witnessed the horrors of war firsthand. During his time in the Continental Army, he also saw things that were beyond belief. Supernatural things. With his hardened combat experience and research of the occult, Carl has become a hunter, tracking down and vanquishing creatures of the night. So when he heard that there were some supernatural happenings going on in Shadowbrook, he arrived to help defeat and take out these supernatural entities that have plagued him. Okay, next up we have the intrepid Inspector Cook. From the neighboring big city, Police Inspector Jonathan Cook has come to Shadowbrook to hunt down and apprehend the men responsible for terrorizing the small community. Rooted in science and fact, he believes that there is nothing in the world that cannot be explained through investigation and logic. To him, fear and superstition are the greatest enemies of reason. And you notice that his spirit is particularly low. I didn't go over the stats of these characters because we'll see that as we play, but he's the one with the low spirit. That's not good in this scenario. However, he gets lots of investigation and can build up a lot of resources. And then last but not least, we have Katrina. She's an outlaw. Katerina, rather. Katrina. A scoundrel and thief, Katerina stalks the road at night as a highway robber. Her skill with a blade and accuracy with her trusty pistol crossbow are matched only by her strong sense of honor. See that she has an honor of 5 up in the top right-hand corner. With a wink and a smile, she only steals from the richest of travelers who greedily hoard their ill-gotten wealth. And those are going to be the characters we're going to play. So you saw our villain, you saw our characters. There's really not much left to do but get started. I'm not going to specifically call out changes to the rules, right? There are changes, and if you note them and you want to mention them in the comments, feel free to do so. And of course, I might make a mistake or two, probably will. But we'll see how it goes. And I am going to have to do something before we get started with our objectives for our villain, our epic villain. So at the start of a game, when you choose to battle an epic villain, you're going to choose, or not choose, but randomly select one of these objective, or 2 of these objective cards at the very beginning of the game. So I'm giving them a quick shuffle, and we're going to see what objectives we have against the horseman. So we're going to get Break the Hateful Curse. Evil dwells here. Anytime a hero defeats a minion corner location card, not a minion encounter, they may collect that card as a trophy. Heroes may also collect attacked corner location cards as a trophy, as long as they are not KO'd by the minion's chart result rolled. Okay. Breaking the curse. The first hero to be in the town hall and discard 2 trophy cards as an action breaks the curse. Take this objective card, gaining the following: +1 spirit and +1 wound. That is really good. We're going to put that right by our shadow track. And we got to select one more. Let's see what we get. Fortify the town. Okay. Build barricades, cutting +5. While in any town space, a hero may attempt to build a barricade. There are tokens for that, by the way. As an action, make a cunning test 5+. If successful, place a barricade in the space, limit 1 per space, and gain 2 investigation. Rally the militia, pay 4. While in a town space, a hero may rally the militia as an action, pay 4 investigation to place a militia token in the space, limit 1 space. Fortified town. At the start of any turn in which every town space in the town is fortified, has a barricade and a militia, move the shadow track 1 step away from darkness. This may not, however, move the shadow track into a different stage. So if we do this early on, we can keep the shadow track from getting out of control. That would be awfully nice. So those are the 2 objectives, and I believe those are going to be the only 2 objectives we have outside of defeating the big baddie for this game. And that's the start. That's how we're starting, by looking at the 2 interesting objectives we have for the Spectral Horseman. Here are the barricade tokens that we will put in the town of Shadowbrook as we barricade it up. Now, one thing else to mention about the 10th anniversary edition is it does come with many of the villains that were posted on the web and everything. So you have some additional villains in the game, such as these, like I can't remember which, Wood Witch or something like that, and the Nutcracker and Krampus and everything, which I'll probably do an episode of that around Christmas time with a couple of those Christmas-themed villains. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's start with our first turn. Just as a quick refresher for everybody, this is the game round. At the start of the game, all players will roll off. Whoever rolls highest is the first player. Okay. Then each game round is comprised of the following: the player's hero turn. Each turn, the first player takes their hero turn, then passes to the left. Hero turns, all remaining heroes take their turns, and then the mystery phase. Once every player has taken their hero turn, the first player must complete the mystery phase by drawing a mystery card and reading it aloud. The first player marker is always passed to the next player. However, this is only the basic part of the game. We will be using an advanced mystery chart, so we will do that as well. I think I got to refresh myself on the rules, make sure the new rules don't change anything. But when in the old rules, you would play the advanced mystery chart and draw a mystery card. I believe that will still be the case, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, because right now we're going to take our character turns. And I'm just going to start with Katarina. She's going to be the first player. Don't need to worry about rolling off. So I give her the first player marker, and she is there in the town. Now, she has got, as you can see on the screen, she's got some stats there. She's deadly when rolling a fight dice. Hits a 4, 5, or 6 instead of a 5 or 6 hit. And she's got 4 wounds, which is good. She is a female outlaw with a spirit of 2, cunning of 3, combat of 2, and honor of 5. So things we need to do. We need to explore, look around for the villain, and get new stuff. Now we all start with 2 investigations, so we could literally start some things, but the first thing we're going to do is move. Roll for movement, which is always the first thing that happens in a hero's turn. So let's get that done. Okay, we're going to roll our first roll, a 3 for Katarina. She can move 1, 2, 3. So where is she going to go? She could start heading toward one of the corner locations to investigate it. She would probably head toward the abandoned keep, look for some better and more interesting weaponry, or she can go do some training. So we got a couple things we can do. We can buy things in the blacksmith shop. We can get some store items. We're not worried about that yet because we don't have enough money, really. And money, the resource we use for everything is investigation. That means we've earned money. We've gotten ideas about things that we can purchase and buy over time and spend those resources on, like discovering. We can spend investigation to discover the secrets of the town elders. That's not a bad thing to do. We can also, as you saw, spend 4 investigation on the something. I got to remember with the Spectral Horseman as well. I got to remember what that is. Oh, yeah, we can rally the militia for 4 investigation because there's fortify the town. We gain 2 when we put up a fortification. So there's a lot of cool things we can do. And also we got to break the hateful curse by getting some trophies. Well, she is a fighter of the group, and I can not make it to any of the corner locations. So I think what we'll do is we'll start off by, we could go to, we all need spirit, so it might be worth her going. She's got a very high honor. She's got honor of 5, which means she's going to roll 5 honor dice. So I think what she's going to do is she is first going to stop here at the church. Sorry, that was my stomach, guys. I apologize if you heard that. Where we're going to draw an event and then train in spirit. So our first event card coming out. Now, in a cooperative game, the way I play this, and the way you should be playing it too, is that the event cards are communal, and we can have as many as we can draw. So this will be our first event card, as she just takes that 3 movement and only moves 1. You don't have to take the full movement. This is a roll and move game, and I would like to call this, in the most loving way, a Scooby-Doo game. Obviously, we're trying to unmask the villain and defeat the villain, but it's a roll and move type murder mystery game. So, what do we get for? These are not. One of the things that's interesting about these cards, and they kept the same card styles, is they're really heavily coated, which means they stick together. And when you first open them up, once you get playing them, they don't. So, this is a new. You can see they're still sticking together. Anyway, let's see what we get here. We got Strength of Will. Play immediately. Play this card on any hero. Gain +1 Cunning. Well, I think that would be good for. Let's see. Who uses Cunning? You know, the detective. At any time. I don't think that's good for him necessarily. It would be good for him. He's already got a 4. Cunning. That would give him a 5 Cunning, and if he can find an item to fight with Cunning, we're in good shape. So I think we're going to do that. We're going to give that to him. So that card is played immediately. Now there are tokens for this, so I think I'm just going to put that card aside. So not taking up space, and we'll take a +1 Cunning token and put it there with the Inspector. And I'll just discard that card. Okay, and that is the card that we drew for our first event, and then she gets to spend 2 coins, 2 investigation rather, to see if she can get an enhancement to her spirit. Here's the 2 investigations she's going to spend. As you can see, they're super thick and flexible at the same time. Let's roll 5 dice and see if she can get a success. She only needs to get 1. So we're going to take all the dice out of here. And the green ones are going to be for the heroes. The black ones will be for the Spectral Horseman. But we're going to get 3, 4, 5 dice. For the first test of the game, it's going to be a spirit test. We need a 5+ on 5 on any one of these dice. We got a, oh man, only one. Wow, that was pretty close. But doesn't matter because 1 was enough to succeed. So we are going to gain a +1. Let's find it. Cunning, or spirit rather. There it is. +1 spirit token that will go on Katerina. She has trained her spirit at the church. All the goings on she's heard about in town, she decided that it would be good to say some prayers and bolster her faith in the Lord, and she has done so. All right, and that marks the end of her turn. So now we're going to move on to Inspector Cook. Well, Inspector Cook's special ability is anytime the hero is collecting investigation, except for from a fight, he may collect 1 extra from the same source. So he likes to collect investigation. That means that, for example, if he's building barricades, he will, as an action, he will be able to gain 3 investigation from that instead of 2. But first off, we're going to roll our movement. Let's see what we get. A 4, so we can get to a corner location. I think Inspector Cook would like to go talk to the Handbrooks, who live up in the manor house. That's what he's going to do. Since he can get all the way up there, this is Inspector Cook right here. This is his cool mini holding the lantern and the pistol. And he is going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4 up to the manor, where he will draw a manor card. Let's go do that. Just giving these a quick shuffle before we get going. I'll probably do this several times throughout the game, but I won't always do it on camera. So I want to make sure they're not sticking, and we get a good draw, random draw. Okay, what do we get? A cross. All vampires, ghosts, and demons. The Spectral Horseman is a ghost. Attacking you are -1 fight dice. Discard to prevent 1 wound to any hero or town elder in the space, including yourself. So he found an item. Now, here's the thing about items. You can only carry 1 item from a location per location. So you can have a total of 4 items from each of the corner locations, and then town items you can have up to 3. So we got to remember there's limitations on how many things you can carry. But that's really it for his turn. That's good. That wasn't a bad turn for him. And now we have Carl. He is right here. We're going to roll his movement. We rolled a 1. That's not good. I think he's going to do much like his honors 5 as well. So he's got a very good chance. I think he's going to move to the crossroads, or to the church as well, and we're going to see if we can bolster his spirit up. Now, we may want him to, I could be the first one to build a, no, building the barricades takes cunning, so you know what we want is we want Inspector Cook, who has got 5 dice to do that, to come back and start building barricades. So again, we got 5 dice because Carl the soldier, as you can see, has a 5 honor. And, oh, look at that, he got lots of successes, so no problem there. He had to spend his 2 investigation to do that. But he too gets to bolster his spirit by 1, putting him at 3, which means we're taking away that penalty that the Spectral Horseman has. Now, the only person that is really at a disadvantage there is Inspector Cook. So that is okay. But that was a good turn for him. And then lastly, we have Isabella von Took up. Her special abilities are she may discard an ally item or investigation to prevent a wound to herself. The ability may be used any number of times. And she has personal servants. She may carry 1 extra item or ally from a single location or 1 extra town item. So that's her specials. And she's pretty good. She's not very honorable. She's got the lowest honor of the group with a 2. Remember, she's willing to be deceitful. But she rolls a 2, so she can't get very far either. She already has a spirit of 3. Do I go and... She's got a reasonably high cunning of 3. We could get some more cunning so we can build barricades. She could help. She wouldn't be building them. Her servants would. But, you know, she could get that done. So I think she's going to do that. She'll move to the magistrate's office, where she's only got a 2 honor, so it's not a great chance, but she's going to attempt to increase her cunning by spending those and rolling 2 dice. But we get lucky here. We did not, so she failed. She got to roll a 5 or better. She went to the magistrate's office, but she was just she's trying to cheat, apparently, because she has no honor. And they caught her at it and said, well, we're not going to train you in this. You didn't learn anything. You're just a cheater. So that actually marks the end of our full first turn. Wow, all the heroes have gone. So the first thing that we do in a game of a cooperative game is we roll on the advanced mystery cooperative table. Now you don't have to. You can play it a little easier and not do that, but why? Because that makes it more fun. Let's see what we get. We rolled a 6. So there was a March of Darkness. Every minion on the board immediately moves 2 spaces along the shortest path to that town hall. If there are no minions on the board, which is the case, instead roll once on the villain's minion chart. Rerolling events event results, and place 2 minions at random locations. So that is what's going to happen. So I'm going to pull this out, and we're going to roll for the Spectral Horseman's minions. We're going to roll 2d6. He's got a lot more going on here, and we will avoid any events and just work on minions. So the first one is going to be a 10 to say place 2 or roll twice. I got to remember. If there are no minions, instead roll once. So we got a 10. What does a 10 give us? A 10 actually does give us minions. They are the spectral cannons. That's not good. We'll see what they do. Siege. At the start of each mystery phase, the player must choose one militia or barricade to remove from the board. If there are none, instead discard the top card from each corner location. We got to destroy these fast. Okay, so let's see where they're at. We're going to get the layer cards out, and we're going to put down 2 cannons, 2 spectral cannons. So as Inspector Cook is investigating the manor house, he realizes that there's this booming sound. Someone's firing cannons at the poor town. Must be the villainous bandits or brigands or whatever is plaguing this town that is pretending to be something undead and evil. Okay, the first one is, well, we can't do that. I don't think they can be in the town hall. Just double check that. The spectral cannons. I guess it can. The ghost. Okay, so the first one's going to be in the town hall, and then the second one is going to be in the marsh. All right. Well, you know who can get to the marsh? Nobody. So that cannon might last for a little while. Let me get the cannons out. I got to remember which ones are the cannons. Here they go. Here are the ghost cannons. So the first one is going to be appearing in the town hall right there. We're going to get rid of that, and then the second one will be down here in the marsh. We've got to remember at the beginning of the mystery phase. So starting next mystery phase, we will have to deal with the events of those cannons, and that means that these 2 are temporarily discarded. They will come back. Okay, that was the mystery chart roll, but that doesn't end it for us. Once we've rolled on the mystery chart in the cooperative game, we then draw a mystery card. So let's see what happens there. And I'm going to double check the villain too with the enhanced villain and make sure we don't do anything additional to that in the mystery phase. And if we draw a murder card, I'm sure something terrible happens. So let's see what we get here. Here will be our first mystery card of the game. You see there's still, even in the base game, there's still quite a stack of these. Let's see what we get. Okay, we get... I called it, didn't I? Murder. Wow. All right, so we get a murder card. Let's read what the murder card does. You know, since it's a Spectral Horseman. The villain has struck again. Place 3 random investigation markers on a random location and move the shadow track 1 step closer. So I'm just going to double check the villain card and make sure that nothing happens with murder. Looking for his... no, actually it doesn't. Okay. Oh wait, yep. Endless Ride. Anytime the mystery card Murder is played, the Spectral Horseman appears at the same random location as the investigation and immediately moves using his Relentless Charge ability. Okay, well this is going to be a really interesting first turn for us. The very first card of the game is a Murder card, and it's going to be bad. So he starts in the fields. Okay, so I'm going to put the Spectral Horseman's miniature out in the fields. We'll park that away, and then we're going to go on to this. So the first thing I got to do is place 3 investigation down on the spot in the fields where he killed some farm workers there in the fields. And then we're going to continue on with his Relentless Ride, because that's what happens next. It says, at the end of... Okay, so with an unquenchable thirst for revenge, the Spectral Horseman rides through the colonies. His ride through the colonies is eternal. And here we go. At the end of any fight with the Spectral Horseman, he will ride the shortest path directly to Town Hall. Okay. Well, he's in a place where we're going to roll, because it's the exact same amount of spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he's in the fields, which shows a die there, right? So we're going to roll to see which way he goes. He's going that way. So it says, engaging in a fight round against any hero moved through along the way. Before disappearing into the night, the villain does not take any wounds during this fight. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, boom, to the town hall and rides. He didn't actually hurt anybody in that instance. So if he had gone the other way, he would have fought not only Inspector Cook, but both of these characters as well. That wouldn't have been so bad because they would have gotten some investigation. Now I'm going to check on the new enemy thing just to see if there's anything I have to do with that. So we heard the Spectral Horseman in the night, but we didn't have to do anything to deal with him. I'm just going to look and see what the new enemy, enhanced enemy rules are to see what if there's anything that I have to do. Let me just check that. Yes, we have a couple things. First off, the murder marker did move this track up 1, but then we also, I'm going to put them right here, put a dread marker out, and then we have to roll a die. If we roll less, is it equal to or less than that, then we will have an encounter from the big baddie, and I'm sure that we will do that. Is it less than? If the roll's higher than the number, nothing happens. So we can't roll, well, if we roll a 1, I suppose. We didn't. We rolled a 4, so nothing happens there with that particular roll. I rolled a 4. Okay, so there is 1 dread token. As they go out, we will get closer and closer to having an epic villain encounter, which is very specific to the Spectral Horseman. Okay, I'm going to have to give myself some reminders because this does not appear on the hero's turn stuff, right? It does tell you that some of the things you can do, like we can collect investigation from the board. There's a way to do that. It's not automatic. I play where you have to make a roll. Heal wounds at the cost of 3 each, or it's much cheaper if we go to the doctor's office. We can look at the town secrets of the elders for 2. We can buy a layer card. There's a cost to that associated with it. We're not even close to wanting to do that. Or start a showdown, which we don't want to do either right now. So that is the end of our full first turn. That's going to be the end of this episode because I'm already feeling like I don't want to talk too much more. So in the next episode, we'll be dealing with some encounters. We are fighting the Epic Spectral Horseman. How cool is that? And again, we're only using the base game. Remember, if I use the advanced game, I could have extra boards. There's 2 other boards. There's the coast, and then there's the lake, Echo Lake, and then there's a bunch of other villains and characters. And if you have the coast, you also have the village there that has its own town elders, all kinds of things. Really, really amazing game. What I hope that this drives is them putting out a bunch of these epic villains because they create so much more thematic fun for us as players with that villain having these very specific things to do along with it. And I think that's very cool. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I hope that you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Help me keep that going. The more you do, the better off things are. And I thank you for watching. So take care. I will see you in the next episode. And please let me know what you think of what you see so far in the Touch of Evil 10th Anniversary Edition. I wish I had painted the miniatures, so the first thing you're going to say is paint those busts and paint those corner locations. I couldn't agree more. Hopefully I'll get to it along with all the 8 gazillion other miniatures I need to paint. But we'll see. Take care. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.